Well, let's get talking now. Heifer International empowerment for young innovators and smallholder farmers in Nigeria under the Agric-Tech initiative, Ayute Africa Challenge. We started in August 2022 with over 500 entries, came to an end with 5 finalists competing for grand prize. That was on November 30th. The Ayute Agricultural Youth and Technology Africa Challenge serves as a springboard for identifying outstanding young agri-tech innovators in various Heifer countries, as well as assisting in forming in the formation of strong partnerships. Well, let's talk about this. I want to understand more about this and the prospects of this initiative in the entire Nigerian agricultural, of course, across the continent. I'm being joined by the country director Nigeria for Heifer International, Mr. Rufus Idris, as well as Ifeoluwa Olatayo, who's the winner of the just concluded Ayute competition. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you in the studio. Well, I'm going to start with you. We know that agriculture remains the catalyst for economic development. We cannot rule that out. But I want to ask you, in achieving food security, how can what you're doing, programs you're doing, initiatives you're doing, how can it help to address problems of maybe Nigerian smallholder farmers?
Thank you so much. To address the issue of food security, we need to unlock potentials. We need to unlock potential within the agricultural sector. We need to unlock potential within the youth that constitute the majority of our population. You can agree with me that more than 50% of our population are young people, and a lot of them remain unemployed. We have more than 53% of them being unemployed. And also we have an aging population in the agricultural sector, and these young people are not attracted to want to go into that space. How do we unlock potential that will bring them into the space to have them help transform that sector? And also we have to unlock potential within leveraging innovation and technology to drive agriculture to the kind of scale and the kind of quality and levels that we want to see it happen. For many years, in year out, for decades, we've always heard about Nigerian agriculture have the potential to feed the entire Nigeria. We can feed the entire Africa. We can feed the entire world. Despite several interventions, we remain to still hear about the potentials. How do we unlock that potential? And that's why we're doing Ayute. Ayute stands for agriculture, youth, and technology. How do we marry agriculture, youth, and technology to transform that space so we can ensure that we have a high-performing agricultural sector? At the same time, we can address our food security challenges, and also we can better the economy of this country and create wealth for all our population, young people, women, and the likes.
Do you think that these programs have started impacting the sector positively?
I completely agree. For instance, we have young innovators that have designed things around mechanization, introducing tractors to farmers. Farmers now with access to tractor, for instance, with Hello Tractor, one of the winner of the Ayute at the Africa level, and introduce tractors to smallholder farmers. Today, we have farmers that can now cultivate land 40 times faster than what would have been using manual labor. We have farmers that can get yield more than 50% more than what they used to get in the past because now they have mechanization that increase the productivity level. We also have farmers that can now afford to pay for tractor services. Sometimes that's even almost 2 or 3 times cheaper compared to what they pay for manual labor as well. It's making impact. Nigeria also is one of the most vulnerable regions to climate change impact. Young people are designing innovations that are helping to address that particular issue by building smallholder farmers' resilience to withstand the shocks. We heard about the recent flooding in Nigeria, washing away a lot of farms. We have young people that have designed insurance innovations that can help smallholder farmers insure their farm. So when such things happen like flood or drought, the farms are secure, they get their investment back. And it makes bankers want to invest in that space. Young people using drone to provide sprayer services in the farms areas. Young people that are also coming up with innovation that's helping with the processing side, addressing logistics issues, connecting smallholder farmers to finance. You talked about the recent cashless policy in the country. Farmers currently depend on cash transactions. Young people are needed to help create solutions that can help them now transact in a cashless way. And I think that's some of the
interesting stuff. I'm sure, Ifeoluwa, you saw all of this and you tapped into it. Let me congratulate you. But do you think that this competition can serve as a springboard? What do you think, or what has it added to you?
Absolutely. The Ayute Nigeria Challenge, being on the platform has been like a blessing to my business in the sense that it's just beyond. So what was advertised was a $10,000 that everybody was after. But beyond that prize money, there were training given to myself and my team on sustainable business building, corporate governance, market positioning and the likes of that. Wow. And beyond that, we also had one-on-one mentoring session on building a practical, investable business plan that could even scale beyond where we are at the moment. Giving us media attention like this, which would also give us recognition and the like in the future. So it's a springboard in itself, because as much as we have a lot of young people that want to come into the agriculture space, bring in solutions, they have always had the challenge of funding and training. Now, with the Ayute platform by Heifer International and implemented by Heifer Nigeria for us, Ayute Nigeria, we've been able to have access to that very easily. But beyond just seeing it as a ceremonial level, we're seeing it as you having someone to handhold you. Because typically for young people, so we always want to step back because we feel we don't have the expertise, we don't have the experience, and then who guides you? But with a platform like that can handhold you, it's a springboard and it's an opportunity for potential youth to get secured within the agricultural space, bringing the technology on board, create food security, create improved nutrition, create even employment, and also solve the problem of aging agricultural population by opportunities like this. So what we just need is the right policies and right government support to push platforms like this that Heifer International is creating for us. So absolutely
interesting when you talked about that population, because then growing up we used to have this picture in mind that a farmer must be old, look like, with a hoe and a cutlass and all of that. Yes. But I will follow up and say, so you think this can bring more youths into it? I will be interested in getting into agriculture. It could be a part-time thing. I will still be on air though, but it's something that really interests me. So what's that thing? Do you think that platforms like this will bring in more youths? I
absolutely think that. And I'm also going to mention the fact that you said you also want to be a part of the cultural space. And you don't even need to carry the oars and the cutlasses. You don't need. The technology is advanced to a level where you can also participate. We have platforms where you can just be an investor on the agricultural chain, using the technology to help handle the supply chain for farmers, or even create funding, access to finance for farmers for climate resilience. Let's say we want to give them solar-powered irrigation system. This is quite capital intensive, but it's very much needed because of climate change and the impact of it. So what platforms can we create that youth would be able to harness the funding from other private sector holders or investors like yours to make sure that you're also a participant within that value system? You are also, and the moment you're a participant on the value system, you would see that it's more like a collective. Everybody eats. But agriculture is beyond that. It's a collective business for everybody, especially for Nigeria. It should be the greatest contributor to our GDP.
Brilliant stuff there. Anyway, we are hoping to get to that point where we can invest. I'm still a journalist, but that's just on the lighter part. But let me follow up with technology and innovation. I believe that's the way to go in all facets of the economy. It's clear we must adopt technology and take advantage of it. But in the agricultural space, do you think this can help transform the mindset of the youths, talking about technology and innovation to help agriculture?
I strongly believe this can help. And we've also done recent studies that we did across many countries, asking young people what will attract them to go into a particular sector. We can see what's happening within the entertainment sector. You need not tell any young Nigerians to know that it's very, very lucrative and they're happy doing that. You need not tell any young people to see what's happening in the financial sector with the fintech and a lot of innovation coming up there. What's happening within telecommunication space and also in the health tech space as well. So it's about just making agriculture very attractive to young people. And to make it attractive, it's what we're doing now through the Ayute. One, she just mentioned about the access to finance. Are there financial product that's friendly to technology that young people are now designing? Agriculture in the first place is considered as the highest risk sector to invest in. And bankers don't want to even touch it at all. Now we're talking about technology that serves agricultural space. So there's a challenge there. We must ensure that we have the right kind of product, lending product, that can enhance more funding for young people that actually want to go into that space, because most times it's capital intensive. Number two is also that a lot of these young people also need that business mentorship and coaching to help them succeed and thrive as a business owner. This also is what we're looking at within the space to see if we can provide that to young people to make it attractive to them to come to that particular space, to come and operate there. Also in terms of policy and enabling environment. Do we have policies in the country and an environment that enables young people to want to go into business? Where are we in terms of infrastructure that supports a thriving business in the country? I think with all this being taken care of, young people are more willing and interested to go into that space using technology. As I mentioned before, it's not about actually just working in the production side of things. You can support many other areas that help to enhance and catalyze the growth that we're looking for in the agricultural space. So I strongly believe young people are interested if we can create that enabling environment and support structure to get them more into agriculture.
Let's talk about sustainable opportunities such as competitions like this one, rewarding participants and all of that. Do you think this can help improve food security, and what more can be done along that axis?
It will really help. So the first thing that I would do is not just the funds that they win from that competition. It's also about the exposure they get to know how to now pitch their businesses to bigger sources to get bigger funds. It's also about the coaching they get in the process to now be better business owners and better entrepreneurs to be able to manage their businesses. At the same time, it gives them a platform. I mean, we're here today on the TV station talking about this. It's a platform for this business to grow, to talk about what she's doing. And I have a lot of young people that are home right now watching her speaking about what she's doing. Like, wow, if she can do it, then I can do it. In the hall when we had the grand finale, we have a lot of young people that came from various universities like, wow, we've been doing things within a really small space and we thought it was not possible. But we are inspired by seeing other people that have done it very well and they're doing very well. If you go to some advanced countries, the richest people are farmers. But in Nigeria, we tend to believe that the poorest people are going to be farmers. And that's not the case. So we feel we can transform and change that mindset and get more young people to be more involved in agriculture and provide that support that they need for them through competition like the one we're running now and the ones that are also running out elsewhere. And again, we can find a way to harmonize all of this competitions so that people get the right kind of support. You're getting mentorship support somewhere, you're getting financing somewhere, and there are different stages to the competition. So what we're doing now is the startup stage, where these young people don't even have the idea, and nobody believes in that idea yet. Who give them the first fund that catalyzes the idea to now become something that's a business. And at some point, we also have another layer of the Ayute, where you can now win some bigger funds. You are at the growth stage. You want to scale to the whole of the country. You want to scale to other African countries. How do you get some larger support, larger platform, larger funds to be able to do that at the big scale? So if we must address the food security challenges in Nigeria, I think we need to embrace young people. We need to embrace technology. And if we can fix that in Nigeria, we can fix that for Africa. And I think the world also can be a place where Heifer can also say that we've been able to end hunger and poverty, which is our overall mission.
Brilliant stuff. Now, beyond $10,000, now that's a lot of money. What other things? You've highlighted some, but what more came up in this competition?
For me, I'll say it's solid support system. That's what I have. That's what I know that myself and my team have been able to get into by being the winner of the Ayute Nigeria Challenge. The solid support system is. So, like the $10,000, it's a lot. $10,000, it's a lot of money. But the fact that you have social capital that comes with that money, so that the money we could collect the money and we expend it on the operations of the business or for the support of smallholder farmers. But how do you get access to market for you to be able to get higher revenue that could better scale your business? And that's where the social capital that we are getting from Heifer Nigeria comes in. So we are able to get that hand-holding where you are open to bigger opportunities. We're also able to get our growth and improved capacity with our operations, structuring, system creation, and the likes of that. So the training, what really ingrains and what would really make the money impactful for us is the fact that it comes with a training and it comes with proper mentoring. So there's an in-depth training that has gone into the process, but in itself, there's a monitoring that goes into making sure that this money doubles, and this money in itself creates a triple or quadrupled impact.
Truth be told, for me, I believe that there are still challenges with our agricultural space. And I'm going to ask Mr. Idris to the same question, but I'd like to ask you, as you're young and you're into it, how was it? Just a little bit. I know that it's a lot if you want to, but how easy? It's not that easy. Many people will tell you, when they got to a point, I just had to quit, but you're here and you're making it sound so interesting, and I tell you, I am interested. So tell us a little bit about the challenges, and you talked about policies. What more can even government do? Because government has a role to play.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So when I would just say a little bit of the story, because I started on the agricultural value chain as a teenager. I was just 19.
Wow.
And the fact is that there's a need to de-risk youth involvement in agriculture. As a 19-year-old, I had a business plan. Shabby it was, but then I took it to the bank. And of course, who would invest in a 19-year-old teenager, young lady, to want to say, for what reasons, whatever I was bringing to the table were just hypothetics. They were not going to work. So because of that that, of course, drowned my confidence to some level. But later when I picked myself up, I knew that, just the way a lot of other youths are supposed to do is just pushing through and rolling through the punches. It has never been easy trying to set up things. But what is the two critical challenges that has been on that value chain has been the training and the funding, which Ayute Nigeria Challenge and Ayute Africa Challenge by Heifer International is providing. That training and that funding has been the challenge. Now, for the government to create policies that support systems like this, it's about making sure that there's an enabling environment for us. An enabling environment surpasses just infrastructure alone. It also means what tax holidays can they give to young, bright businesses within the age bracket of this and this? Wow. How can they work with this international organization like Heifer International to say, okay, who are the entrepreneurs within, agripreneurs within your system? We want to help them. You've done the due diligence. You already have their data. So we need different things to give. What are the tax breaks you give them in case they are even climate conscious businesses? So how can you give them better tariffs? What offs can you give to them? What other support beyond the funding can you create for them? So there are a lot of policies that can be created just working hand in hand, but the government working hand in hand with this international organization.
Yeah, like public-private, something like that coming together too. Well, let me take it up from there and ask you almost finally, this story, interesting story, and I'm sure Nigerians and even our international viewers that have heard this will be so interested in it. Are there plans to sustain this kind of opportunity for other young people who might be inspired by her beautiful story and partake in this similar opportunities?
So the plan to sustain this is in place. This is not a one-year program. Heifer International comes into a country and works there for many years. We're in more than 22 different countries around the world, in the Americas, in Africa, and Asia. And we're here for the longest. So for instance, the Ayute program will continue for more than 10 years to ensure that we can create the kind of atmosphere and build the kind of ecosystem that can support these young people to thrive within what they've just started in terms of design, innovation, and technology to continue from there. And also we'll continue to have that cohort of young people that have gone through the program and continue to exchange ideas. Like you mentioned earlier, it's not an easy path to go into business.
Honestly.
But can we handhold some other people that are coming into the chain as we grow in that system? So they continue to build that ecosystem where they can support each other to grow as well. And also in our collaboration, we're not limiting to just be like a donor organization or a philanthropy organization that's coming in to come and support an activity. We are bringing all the necessary partners that will make it sustain itself beyond this point. So we are collaborating with government, we're collaborating with the private sector, we're working with innovators, we're working with the financial institutions, and also working with every single person, regulators or people, policymakers that can ensure that all the different components is being touched to ensure sustainability in the kind of program that's been designed and that's been implemented as well.
Brilliant stuff there. A parting shot from you. What else do you want to tell young Nigerians like you?
I'll say keep pushing. It has never been easy, and even the richest man would never tell you it's easy, but honestly, keep pushing. There's so much that we'll
become investors one day. And a parting shot from you too. Interesting conversation, I must say, truly.
So what I would say is that we're in an interesting time. Nigeria is currently struggling to ensure that we can feed ourselves. We spend more than $22 billion to import food into the country. Our smallholder farmers, our youth are unemployed. They can tap into that. To make more from that money. We can produce more locally to feed ourselves. And when we get to that point that we're feeding ourselves, we can feed the rest of Africa and feed the rest of the world. Then we can create wealth for people in the country. Agriculture is the way to go. We mentioned it earlier. I mean, it's our biggest non-oil sector. And it can create job for every single person in this country. So
we'll follow up with you and always have you come talk and when there are issues around the agricultural space. Interesting conversation. I've been speaking to Mr. Rufus Idris. He's the country director Nigeria for Heifer International, and Ifeoluwa Olatayo, right? Winner of the Ayute Competition. Congratulations again. Thank you so much. It's really great having you guys join us on Business Nigeria. We hope to have you on again anytime soon.
Thank you.